All right, guys, I am back with a brand new Rebel Moon update. I should have 3 updates coming today, and then I am probably going to be taking a couple of days off to celebrate Christmas with my family. And I think I may end up recording possibly some holiday movie reviews that will go up over Christmas Eve and maybe on Christmas as well. But I wanted to get 3 updates out today. I'm first going to have this Rebel Moon update. I will do a DC update, and I do plan on doing my TV show and movie update as well to close out this week, and then maybe some movie reviews to be scheduled to be released over the next couple of days. But I will be spending time with my family. All right, so Rebel Moon. Now, I'm going to show you 3 photos that I've grabbed in regards to Rebel Moon. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts after having seen the film 3 times now. So I had a chance to see it once in theaters, and I've seen it twice at home. And I'm going to talk about some of my thoughts on the film. And I will tell you that my rating has slightly gone up since the first time I saw it. And I'm going to explain why and what I've thought of the film watching it here at home and basically what my thoughts are. But first, let's take a look at a few of the photos that I've grabbed online. We're going to see how popular Rebel Moon actually is. So first up here, Variety has reported that Zack Snyder is developing a Rebel Moon comic book series and mobile game. He is also planning to release his first book of photography featuring a collection of black and white portraits he shot on set. Now, this is pretty cool. We know that he is going to be deep into this universe and does plan on fleshing it out. And I think that things are going to go well for him based off of the viewership and some other things. And let's take a look at a couple of other photos here. I totally agree with Zack Snyder on this sentiment. He said the Star Wars audience, they've grown up. They're adults now, and it would be cool to make movies for them. And he is 100% right on this. I grew up watching Star Wars and loving it, but I am an adult, and it's nice to see creative people out there making stuff that's for adults in a universe like Star Wars, but not like Star Wars. And I will tell you that Rebel Moon is definitely its own thing, and I'll be talking about that here in a few minutes. Now, one of the pictures that I was going to grab and forgot to snapshot it is in regards to one of these news outlets. It might have been, I think it was Forbes, was saying that Netflix was shooting themselves in the foot by not releasing the R-rated version first. And I think I talked about this on a past video, but I think the reason they're not doing that is they want the double viewership. They want people to see this movie now and then say, oh, do this huge promotion and go, oh, we're going to have an extended version of the first film prior to the second one being released. Now, they've already announced this, okay? It's been well known that this was going to happen from the beginning. And it is a shame that they did not release the R version at the same time. I wish they would have released both, and then they could see what kind of viewership they get on them. But this does ensure that people will come back again to get more views down the line. I just hope they do it sooner rather than later. I hope it's not 3 months from now. You know, April is, the 4th month of the year. I hope it's not 3 months before we get that R-rated version. I hope it's maybe a month or 2, because I think most people are going to watch the crap out of this movie over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and it would be nice within 6 weeks to get that R-rated version, but there's no timetable on it just yet. Now, here's the coolest photo that I grabbed. This is from Sil Abdul, but it says Rebel Moon is #1 on Netflix in the USA, the UK, France, Germany, Mexico, the Philippines, Nigeria, Italy, Dominican Republic, Peru, and counting. And I'm sure there will be more countries that get added to this list. And someone said, this is brilliant. Congrats, Zack Snyder and Netflix. This was deserved. Rebel Moon. And I totally agree with this. So let me talk about my thoughts on this film since I've seen it 3 times. So I have had the opportunity to watch this movie 3 times. I watched it, at the theater on Tuesday. I watched it the day it got released, and I watched it last night again. And here's what I could totally appreciate about the film. My first viewing, I was like, okay, stuff moved pretty fast. The beginning was fleshed out well. The middle was very fast, and then we had the ending sequence, which is pretty awesome. So yesterday when I watched it, I decided to pay attention to how long were they on Velt at the beginning of the film. And they don't actually leave Velt until 52 minutes into the movie. I thought it was more like a half an hour. 52 minutes in is when they finally leave Velt to go assemble the team. That's almost an hour of the film is devoted to the people on Velt at the very beginning of the movie. It didn't seem like it was, and that's the sign of good filmmaking when you don't realize that that much time has passed. And then the middle part of the film, the next half an hour is them gathering the rest of the team. This is where it definitely needs to be fleshed out, but what was there was fine. Here's what I can appreciate about Rebel Moon, and this is versus something like Batman versus Superman, where they purposefully cut, 35 minutes out of the movie. He had to cut stuff in this as well to get the PG-13 version. And what I can appreciate about this film that I can't say about something like Batman versus Superman is the fact that the movie is still coherent. That it doesn't seem like something is missing other than you wanted more. And that's a good sign. That is definitely a good sign. But everything that there is awesome. I love the fight with the Spider Lady. I love when they introduce these other characters. It's just, it does go by too quickly. So that part of the film did go by pretty fast. I do want to see that part fleshed out for sure. And I'm sure we're going to get that on the extended version. And then you have the ending of the film, which the more I watch the ending of the film and knowing these characters now quite well, it's pretty impactful. It's way more impactful than the first time or even the second time that I saw it. I feel like I know these characters now. And, somebody had mentioned this in one of my comments on Twitter, and I totally agree that, in my original review, I said we don't have enough time to grow with these characters. Well, it was the same thing with Star Wars back in 1977. When we're introduced to those characters, we have the one movie, and then we don't get anything for them until, Empire Strikes Back and then Return of the Jedi, and you learn to grow with those characters. In today's society, everybody wants the here and now, immediately type of thing. And what I appreciate about this film is that they're able to push the story along. You get to know the characters, but there's no unnecessary baggage that's brought along with it. In fact, what we want to see more of is the important stuff, and I cannot wait for that extended version. I will be there. I will review that as soon as it gets released. But as it stands now, I love the universe that they've created. I can't wait to find out more about Jimmy, more about the princess, the life giver, and she may be that girl that's also on Velt along with Cora, because we don't know the circumstances under which Cora crash landed on that planet. We don't get the details on that in the film, and why she crash landed there. What was she fleeing? Because as far as we know, her last job was taking care of the life giver, the princess Issa, or however they say her name. And we hear that the king and the queen were murdered along with Issa, but we don't know the circumstances. They don't show that in the actual film, and I have a feeling we're going to get some of those flashbacks in the next part, or possibly, hopefully, maybe it's in that first part, the extended version. So there's definitely more stuff that they need to reveal to make this a complete story. But some things that I picked up on, in the second and third viewing that I didn't pick up on the first is, at the beginning of the movie when they first go to Velt, the tavern there in Velt, that you have this one creature that is leaving with the basically the army that's there, the occupation. And he's there also with, I forget, Kai. He's also there with Kai. You see him with Kai later, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't catch that the first time. So Kai was probably the one who ratted out that bartender or whoever it was that was going to show them where the blood axes were to begin with. And so you can see how things got twisted later on, and you pick up on little nuances here and there that you don't get on the first viewing. And it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see how solid the film is. Like I'd put this up at 4.5 stars now instead of 4. My score has gone up, and I really appreciate the slow motion at the end of the movie during the fight, because there's a lot going on, and it is good to see that they kind of slow some of that stuff down. Some of the slow-mo sequences in other parts, like the her dropping the seeds at the beginning of the movie, There were a couple of slow-mo scenes that I thought were unnecessary. But were there too many in the film? No, some people have that comment that there's too many. I didn't think there were too many. But I do appreciate the story for what it is. I appreciate the movie much more now, and I get much more enjoy out of it watching it now that I know these characters, I know their motivations, I know what's going on, and I think people are going to come to grow and like it even more. Now, as far as the streaming numbers go, the one thing I'm excited for is I don't think Netflix is going to hide these streaming numbers. The fact that it is #1 across the world right now, I think they're going to want to share this with the world to show them that we did the right thing. And the crazy thing about HBO Max and Zack Snyder's Justice League and those films, they have never released the true streaming numbers. We have stuff from Samba, but Samba, people don't realize how Samba is collected, and it is definitely not a 100% accurate view on how these films were streamed. And there's a reason why HBO Max does not want to let go of Zack Snyder's Justice League and why Netflix didn't get it. And Warner Brothers is playing hardball on this stuff. They're basically they're turning their back on Zack Snyder, and they're going to dig their heels in. So until something changes down there in DC, I don't think we're ever going to get that stuff going off in another area. But I appreciate what Zack has created now, and I'm looking forward to seeing more in this universe. All right, guys, so there's my Rebel Moon update. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.